Right, Shalom, giving all praise unto Yahbashim Hashabashim Dash. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, and honors you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And above everybody, are coming out here to give you this truth for the grace and mercy of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim Dash. Here to do another in transit video. And this is gonna be, I ain't really thought about how I was gonna do this particular video. I'm just gonna go in the spirit. But the topic is gonna be based upon the injustice that the marriage contract is within this society. And to any new brother that's just come into faith, this is kind of like a video that you should watch and get your bearings about you. Wherewith the marriage contract underneath the jurisdiction of the Red Hebrew Edomite is about the worst thing that you could do to yourself, especially as a man of the Lord, knowing and understanding that things have a propensity for going bad. Okay, so yeah, let's get into this video, man. And I'm just gonna be speaking off the top of my head, trying to filter it out through the spirit. But what do we see within the scriptures? What do we understand from the Bible, and what do we see as it pertains unto the rulership of Esau and the Gardenian Pact? And if you don't know what the Gardenian Pact is, when Eve basically messed this whole situation up by making that pact with Esau, which was the serpent within the garden, that's what we call the Gardenian Pact. And that was to get the strength of the house, which is the man, and the father, Abba, right? The word Abba literally means the strength of the household, because within the Hebrew language, words have meaning, and the meaning can be ascertained by the characters that are used. Okay? So the characters that make up the word for father within the Hebrew is Abba, right? The cattle and the house. He the strength of the household. So the Gardenian Pact was a penis envy type of a move from Eve to get the freedom and the liberation that you see these broads have unto this day. Okay? And they certainly have got some liberations. They got more liberations than the man has liberations. But as with all things with Esau, it's like the monkey's paw. Okay? Here it is, here's the goodies, which is all of this sexual liberation that you see these bros have. And some of these girls are chucking out body counts that fucking Jack Johnson will be envious of. The body counts that these women are throwing out there, Jack Johnson will drop his jaw. Say these women are going in like that. Even my man, what's this brother's what's this guy's name now? I forget the guy's name now. The basketball player, and he was the main rival to Bill Russell. He had a whole bunch of women. I forget his name off the top of my head now, but he had the 100-point game, right? Can't believe I forgot his name. Because when you check out how this guy moves, he kind of moves like how you expect the ancient man to move. He kind of had that old spirit about him. Okay, but he had the the women that he was popping all the daggone time, right? And some of the numbers that these women be dropping, even he'll be envious of it. And that's because they've made that pact with the Red Hebrew Edomite. Okay, what we see within this society is a total reversal of how things should be. More whores than mothers, as I said in the previous video. And obviously, when you join yourself onto that, you're going to put yourself in a position where it's going to be very detrimental to you. So we advise you here at Great Millstone not to make that particular contract. Okay? And really, women is the last thing that you really want to be worried about, man. I mean, we all like women. We all enjoy the company of women. Right? We ain't some flamers out here. We ain't part of the alternative lifestyle community. We're the men of the Lord. Okay? Part of the reason why we put ourselves through this suffering is in order to obtain the Isaiah 4:1. Okay? We want to be a part of that blessing. But going back onto the topic of the video, the marriage contract here underneath the red Hebrew Edomite basically puts you, not basically, but literally puts you in a position where you are fulfilling the book of Isaiah, the 3rd chapter, okay? Where the scripture says, as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. The last thing you want to do when you're in this truth is to have a woman rule over you. Doth not the scripture say, remember the old times, the old things? How was things done within the ancient world? Well, we already got a precept for that, okay? If any woman wants to see this video and get emotional about it, what does the scripture say? The scripture says that the woman learn in silence. That's point number 1, but that's still not the point, but that's point number 1. That the woman learn in silence with all subjection and sobriety. Sobriety. Yeah? Sobriety means to be sober of mind, to have a sound mind. A lot of people ain't exhibiting a sound mind within this society that we're living in. In addition to that, the scripture says the man is supposed to be the head of his household, as Yahushua is the head of the church. Now let's think about that. Let's think about that particular scripture and see if it's applied in this day and time that we're living in right now. Is the man the head of the household? No. But I thought this was a God-fearing nation and people. I'm in England, right? The church is supposed to be intertwined with a royal family. So are we in a royal and righteous society? No, because the man's not the head of the household. The scripture says that the man's supposed to be the head of the household, as is Yahushua, which is whom the world calls Jesus, is the head of the church. Okay, it's just order. That's not to say the woman doesn't have a beautiful place within the family, but when you make a marriage contract with these women, and here's really one of the fundamental points I wanted to make with this particular video. When you got it to where the woman's the head of the house, okay, and the scripture says thy wife shall be a harlot within the streets, she goes out there to a real man, Esau, within the workplace, and she's she's enthralled because women like power. That's what they really like. Look at Biggie Smalls. When Biggie Smalls got all that power, he had them women down like that. This is a quote from the Apostle Elder Gabar. I can never forget this quote. When Biggie Smalls got the power, right, he had them women dancing around him like snakes. Okay, that's a quote from Elder Apostle Gabar. It's kind of like a funny quote, but there is a reason to it. There is not a reason to it. There is a great point behind it. There's a great philosophy there, and it's the understanding that, as the scripture saith, in the day of thy power shall thy people be willing. Okay, thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. You ain't gonna have a fully functioning household. Now we do what we can do, but the scripture says if that woman don't go the way you want her to go, give her a bill of divorce, right, and get rid of her. And we know our main objective here is to push the word. And many brothers, including myself, have been put in situations where you look at the women that's around you, or the women that were around you, and you're like, man, I can't deal with this because it's getting around my main objective, of which, pursuant to the book of Ecclesiastes, I believe it's the 12th chapter and the 12th verse, or 12 and 13, it says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. This is the conclusion, that we serve Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Ba'ashim HaKodash. That is the purpose of man upon the face of the earth, especially the Israelite elect man, hopeful elect man that calls himself an Israelite. Your purpose out here ain't out here to get bitches, man. Your purpose is to push the word. Now, you have brothers that could do, quote unquote, do both, but that's not, they don't make that their lifestyle. Like, you see guys out here that make that their lifestyle. They're gonna get the drip, okay? They get the drip laid out on a Friday night or a Saturday night on their bed. They put the Creed, Aventis Creed aftershave on. They get lined up to the max. That's not what we're here out to do. Now, if you do that in your own time, right, save the lined up bit, because that's a violation of the scriptures. If you do that in your own time, you can still push the world. Hey, more power to you, more power to you. But the scripture talks about how the whole duty of man was to follow the word of the Most High, which the main words we're supposed to be following right now, us, the hopeful elect, is to go out here with no sincerity to push the word. So let's close out this video. Oh, there was a point I wanted to make. Slack it. So when we look at the top list of richest women in the world right now, top 100 list, and hopefully that might be the caption of the video. I might use that as the little you know, they show you the avatar. The top richest women in the world right now are divorcees. Now that make you think about it, because we ain't got money like that, but the top richest women out here, they got millions off of the back of divorce. Why? Because they made the Gardenian pact with the red Hebrew Edomite. Okay? So, like, you coming into this thing, or you knowing about this truth, and you trying to make marriages and weddings and all of this, especially weddings in association with Esau. That's what you're gonna call them now. That's what I'm gonna call them now. Weddings in association with Esau. Man, you're gonna put yourself in a detrimental situation, not only to your finances, but also your mental. We're gonna have the weddings when your Hawashai comes, man. Okay, we're gonna have the weddings when your Hawashai comes. Now, we're all priests now. If you wanna have a, you know, your little non-fucking associated with Esau wedding with your woman, you can do whatever you want, man. Okay, it is what it is. The Most High is gonna see whether it's you know, if it's acceptable or unacceptable. You know, I'm trying to, you know, word it in such a way that it's you know, it comes out you know, on point. But the reality of this situation is, we don't want to be joined down to Esau in any type of a contract, and we take the job contracts up until the point they try force the MOTB upon us or make us go off on the law, statute, commandments. That's when we dip. Same thing with a marriage contract. Don't go into it. I mean, that's kind of like a simple idea, but you know, when you see the so-called Red Pill community and many other men that have gone through the marriage contract and come out the other end, it's blindingly obvious that that whole contract was set up by the Red Hebrew Edomite to destroy the man. Okay, so I don't want to dwell on the woman topic too much. Hopefully that was, you know, less rambling and more edification. And Salakia if I'm rambling, but this is how the, you know, this is how the in transit videos kind of go. You just kind of go, you know, in the spirit. And hopefully Lord's will is at least edifying to one person. Now, if it's edifying to everyone, that's beautiful, right? But hopefully it's still of edification. So with that, I'm going to say, all praise unto Yahweh, Shimi, Al-Shai, Bashim, Al-Kor, HaKodash. Our double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, and honest you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.